What's up, travelers? SummationKid here. We've got quite a bit to go over in this video, so I will try to make things quick and easy. So let's jump right in. For patch 4.1, most of you might know, we're going to get Nivelette and Hutao in the first half, and they're going to come with Fischl, Xingqiu, and Diona. I actually made a video about this specific banner already, so do check it out if you'd like the full story, but the gist of it is that this banner's 4 stars are very good. So this banner is going to be very good for new characters, as well as veteran players who don't have Fischl, Xingqiu, and Diona at Constellation 6. And for the second half of patch 4.1, we're going to have Risley, so thank you guys for teaching me how to say his name, Venti, and their 4 stars are going to be Thoma, Chongyun, and Dori. So this banner, the 4 stars on this banner are pretty mid, I would say. Thoma's got a few niche uses, like Vivu Hutao. Chongyun, he's got that cryo infusion. I don't think any other character really has that in their skill. And Dori's, well, Dori, I mean, she doesn't really do too much. They try to make her do everything. So she gives energy regen, she gives healing, she gives electro application, but she doesn't really do any of those things really well compared to characters that are more dedicated to those roles. But she's super fun to play around. Plus, she's got that genie. Super funny attack animations. But that's about it. So this banner, you're mostly going to be pulling on it for the 5 stars. Venti is still a very relevant unit, despite being literally the first ever character, first ever 5-star character to be released. His burst still, wipes the screen, as long as the enemies are light enough. Risley, we don't really know enough about just yet. We'll just have to wait and see when he gets released, then we can actually trial him. Now for patch 4.2, for the first half, we're going to get Furina, the Hydro Arcana Fontaine, and we're going to get Baizu. And they're going to have Charlotte on their banner, but we don't know what the other 2 4 stars are. So this character banner is going to be pretty good, assuming you like Charlotte. Again, we don't know what the 4 stars are, but we do know that because Furina and Baizu are running together, then it might not be a good idea to pull on the weapon banner, because Baizu's weapon is only good for him. Even though Furina's banner is really, really good, you're still running the risk of getting Baizu's weapon instead, the other cursed donut. I actually made a video on this banner as well, so I will also put that down in the description if you guys like to check it out. And then for the second half of patch 4.2, we're going to get Ayato and Sino. We again don't know what the 4 stars are, but we do know that this weapon banner is going to be pretty damn good, since Ayato and Sino's weapons are both fairly generalist in that they work on pretty much every sword and polearm user. So Ayato's weapon gives you a good amount of attack, a good amount of crit rate, 33%, as well as a bonus to all elemental damage, so literally anyone can make use of that, in addition to buffing your normal attacks upon using your elemental skill. So that is all Ayato's weapon, Haran Gepaku Futsu, and Sino's weapon also measures up pretty well, so his Staff of the Scarlet Sands will also give you crit rate, or was it damage? Well, it's one of the two. As long as it's one of the two, it's good. And the passives are also pretty damn good. They will convert elemental damage to attack. They will convert elemental mastery to attack. So you don't lose any mastery, it's just that it takes a portion of your mastery and turns it into bonus attack. I think at Refinement 1, it's about 50%. And then for every time you use your elemental skill, because Sino can use it multiple times, then I think it will do like 28% each time, and it stacks up to 3 times. So it basically turns all your elemental mastery into bonus attack, which again is something that pretty much any character can make use of. So it's actually very good on Xiao. As an Anemo character, he can sometimes swirl, so he can sort of use elemental mastery in that sense, and then if he has the Staff of Shifting Sands, then all that mastery gets turned into bonus attack, which is pretty sweet. So basically the first half of patch 4.2, weapon banner bad, the second half, weapon banner good. Then for patch 4.3, we know we're getting Navio, Ito, Raiden, and Albedo. However, we don't know the order, so that's going to be something that we'll find out closer to patch 4.3. We do, however, know that 3 out of those 4 characters are unfortunately Geo, and that is unfortunate because Or at least it's unfortunate for me. I don't know about you guys. But it's fortunate because that means the Wolf Lord is probably returning to the Spiral Abyss. And that's a boss that I don't particularly like dealing with. I don't know if any of you guys like him. But having 3 Geo characters practically guarantees that we're going to be seeing him again in the Abyss of patch 4.3. Another interesting thing to note is that Albedo doesn't have a 5-star signature weapon, so he's going to get a random 5-star standard sword, so maybe something like, I think he got Aquila Favonia once, he got Primordial Jade Cutter, so any of those 5-star standard swords that you would get from the standard banner. So some of them are kind of bad, like Aquila Favonia, some of them are okay, like Skyward Blade, and some of them are pretty darn good, like Primordial Jade Cutter. Primordial Jade Cutter. It gives you an absolute buttload of crit rate, 44%. That would literally bring your base 5% that characters get up to 49%, which is, I mean, you're pretty much there, right? Higher is better, but just from a weapon, pretty darn OP. Another sort of interesting thing, it's seeming that Raiden is starting to become the Christmas character, the new Christmas character. It used to be Albedo. So these are characters that rerun around Christmas time every year. So I guess we'll see if that pattern keeps up. Then finally in patch 4.4, we are getting Shenhe, Ganyu, Xiao, and what you're all here for, Madame Ping. That's right. Oh, and by the way, the art of Madame Ping, that isn't actually official. So that's just some random fan art that I found. Now, to be clear, Madame Ping is coming. It's just that she probably won't look like the picture on the thumbnail, or at least not exactly. So I apologize if that got any of your hopes up. Anyway, patch 4.4, also known as the Adepti patch. Kind of sad, to be honest, that Cloud Retainer isn't on here. Although, the fact that they're releasing Madame Ping as a playable character means that Cloud Retainer probably will, eventually, at some point in the future, also be released as a playable character. So in that sense, it's sort of good news for those of you Cloud Retainer simps out there. And yes, I do count myself as one of you. Now, to be frank, we don't really know much about this patch, and we can't really ascertain much either just from these characters. So we know that Xiao usually runs with the Primordial Jade-Winged Spear, Ganyu has her Amos Bow, Shenhe has her Calamity Queller, so these are not particularly good 5-star weapons. They are of course good for their respective dedicated characters, but they're not particularly good, especially Shenhe's Calamity Queller. So again, it's looking like, unless somehow Madame Ping's weapon is absolutely bonkers and she runs alongside Xiao, whose weapon is at least decent, or at least with Ganyu, whose weapon is at least sort of decent, but otherwise it's looking like the weapon banner for this patch is going to be pretty meh, so both of them. I personally foresee them pairing Madame Ping with Shenhe. It makes sense from a lore perspective, and it also makes sure that Madame Ping's partner has a crappy weapon. I'm assuming that she's going to get a really good weapon, so it makes sense to pair that with a crappy weapon to make people waste their money. That's if I were miHoYo, but again, who knows what they're going to do. So if you guys like this video, then do give it a thumbs up, and of course do subscribe for more content, and I thank you guys for watching until the end. So until next time, I will see you folks in the next video.